today I am so excited to be launching the God Glam Bible Study. So I have here in my hand the God Glam reading plan, and today we are going to kick off our year-long Bible study together. Before we jump into logistics, I just kind of want to lay the foundation, and of course, just like we did with book club or we do with anything new, just kind of lay a foundation, talk about the heart behind the Bible study, and then we will jump into logistics. So this will be probably about 20 minutes, so grab yourself a hot cup of coffee or tea and let's settle in. Some of you who've been with me since, almost the beginning will remember that in March of 2015, I launched the God Glam Facebook group. I am a Christian and I have always wanted to do a seasonal living Bible study. I have been inspired to create this study for, many years, since before I started YouTube, but creating a Bible study is not a small undertaking, especially since there's so many great studies out there, and I really wanted to bring something new and somewhat original to the table. So since March of 2015, I have been working to today. So fast forward 3 years and here we are. We have a seasonal living Bible study. So a little bit about my background and kind of how I came to this. So those of you who, are Paper and Glam subscribers know that I am really inspired by seasonal living, and it really forms kind of the backbone for everything we do, Paper and Glam, from, our book club selections to, of course, our stickers to just the way we live. What inspired Paper and Glam is that life has tasks, and I feel like every year life gets more complicated and it has more tasks. And I, as a student working full time and then of course going to school full time, I really wanted to develop a way of living that was not so task based. And for, the type awesomes who love a good to-do list, I really wanted to make sure that I was making time to live and really sink into the moments of my life and not just kind of live on the surface. And the same is true for a Bible study. When I study the Bible, the last thing I want it to be is one more thing on my list. And I don't think that's what God would want of us. I don't think that's what any of our friends would want of us. If we are starting a new relationship, whether that's a friendship or a romantic relationship, I don't think, anyone would be okay with, God or Jason or, whatever, Kelly, here is, you get 30 minutes a day in this 30 minutes, and I'm going to do it because, I'm a good Christian, or I want to be, and, that's kind of your box. I don't think any relationship should be put in a box like that, and God would agree. So I didn't want Bible study to be this kind of one more thing on my to-do list. So I was thinking about how to make it feel less that way. And one thing that's true about Bible study, and God would not have it any other way, is once you start and get into the rhythm of it, it really will become the best part of your day. You're gonna be so excited to wake up and pour your coffee or pour your tea and sit down with the Lord in quiet reflection and stuff. It can be really, really intimidating when you're first starting, especially if you haven't read the Bible before. And for me, when I was first starting to read the Bible, a lot of studies, and it's a great way to study, but they'll take the book of Ruth or the book of John, and that's great. But me as a type awesome, I was like, I really want an overview. Like, what is this about? So I read the Bible in a year, and I would not recommend that. I would recommend that. I wouldn't recommend you starting there. It took me 3 years to do it, and I just kept trying, and it's really challenging. That's kind of like deciding to run a marathon the first time you go out to run. I personally don't think it's ideal to start. If I would never advise you not to read the Bible, and if you want to do that, I of course encourage you. But I think that when we're starting out, the best way to dive in is with the most holistic approach, because the Bible is meant to be experienced as a whole, right? One of the best ways to read the Bible is really just read it like a novel. Of course, it's going to be a very old, very, challenging novel, but it really is a story that works together. And, of course, we get that story with some great Bible studies like the Story Bible Study and many other Bible studies, but they don't have that seasonal living approach that I really wanted to incorporate into my Bible study. A little bit of my background: I was raised Catholic, so I went to Catholic school all the way through college, except for high school. And one of the things the Catholic Church does really well is living the liturgical year, which is the Christian year. So the beginning of the Christian year is Advent. So Advent begins next Sunday, December 3rd, and that's the official start of our God and Glam Bible study. So during Advent, I remember they just had these beautiful, like, rich berries and this beautiful, red during Christmas. And there was, every season had colors associated with it. And, all the readings, of course, during Christmas were, about the Christmas story, about, Jesus coming to earth. And of course, all the readings during Easter were about, Jesus's death on the cross, of course. And I, have taken so much of that to heart. And it's funny, when you're growing up, you don't know what is, forming its roots in you. And that's something that formed its roots in me. These days, I would consider myself a non-denominational Christian, but every tradition, I think, does certain things really well for the most part. Of course, there's always those extreme sides of religion. So it's like, when you're talking about God, I always feel like I need to issue like a few disclaimers. Anyway, so the Anglican Church and the Christian Church, the Catholic Church, have always done such a great job, living out this liturgical year. And that isn't necessarily true in any of the non-denominational Christian churches that I've been a part of. And so I really kind of wanted to bring that home to kind of a more evangelical, non-denominational Christian setting. So that's what we have here. We have a Bible study that the first half of the year, which is December through Easter, and shortly after Easter, and we'll get to that in a minute, we follow the life of Christ. So of course, during Advent, we celebrate his birth and, the joyful expectation of Christ coming to earth. And then, we follow his life, with Epiphany. It goes from his baptism to his public ministry all the way through, till Lent and Easter with his death on the cross. And then the second part of the year, that's about 6 months. And the second part of the year, we, the God and Glam Bible Study, are going to be talking about specifically what it means to live in light of those truths, right? What does it mean to live a Christian life? And so every week for the whole study, but it's especially the first half of the study, the themes are, of course, revolving around what's going on in Jesus's life at this point in the story. And then the second half of the study take a particular theme of life, of everyone's life, whether that's beauty or culture or freedom, community. We're going to be exploring a different theme. Service, there's lots, and I'm going to show you how that's laid out in the Bible study reading plan once we dive into it. But I kind of want to set up the framework here. So that's the basic setup for our year. So first half of the year, we're going to walk through the life of Christ and really his story, and then the second half of the year is what it looks like to live in light of those truths. So that is really the logistics. That's how it came to be. This is the book we're going to be reading together. It is Living the Christian Year by Bobby Gross, and this was published in 2009, I believe, and he has done such a beautiful job of walking through the Christian year. I still have every intention of creating, my own God and Glam devotional, but it's going to take me several years. So I was so excited when one of you, and I wish I had saved that DM because it totally was transformative. It was like a light bulb moment. I was so excited when you guys showed me this, because I was like, oh yes, there is a resource out there that is going to walk through the liturgical year. So our Bible study kind of goes hand in hand with this book, and the Bible, it's not exactly one-to-one, so I'm warning my type awesomes right now. There are times when I have moved readings around because I felt like there were better places maybe for them within our study, and of course that's my personal opinion, and that'll continue to be true, but for the most part it's really one-to-one, so you can walk through the liturgical year with kind of a guide as you go. So for every reading, Bobby Gross kind of breaks it down, and just to be clear, he did not he basically, I don't want to go into too much of a tangent here, but the liturgical year, there's A, B, C, and D, I believe, and so every year there's kind of a choice between, depending on what year you're in, that's like what reading you choose. So the liturgical year is a lot, right, because there could be 4 different readings for every day, and he's really done an incredible job of distilling that down. and choosing the readings accordingly. And a lot of them are the readings that I would choose. And he's just done such a great job. So I'm so excited to support his work and kind of create a companion that goes right along with it. So the first thing you'll need, we're going to kind of go into what do you need to participate in the God and Glam Bible Study. So the book is a great place to start. Can you read along without it? Absolutely. If you have a Bible and you have an internet connection, you're good to go. But of course, I think it helps to have kind of a companion to read along with and kind of read somebody else's thoughts on the reading that you just read. That's helpful no matter where you are, because the Bible is an old book, and there's so much that we have to think about when we're reading the Bible, like where is this written? What's the context? What's going on in history? And having something that is a resource that kind of has done that for you is invaluable. So of course you're going to need a Bible. Here's my Bible, and there's so many great Bibles on the market these days. I would love to do a separate video on Bibles and kind of my favorites. I have quite the Bible collection, but the one I'm going to recommend today is the one that I have been using for the past 6 years. It's the one that, raised me up as an adult Christian, I would say. And I'll show you close up. It's all linked below. We're going to kind of switch settings here so we can take a look at the planner and the reading plan. But this is the one that I would select if I were you and you just needed, you didn't want to do a bunch of research and you're just getting started. This is the Bible I recommend, and I will show you why in just a minute. And then lastly, you're going to need a journal or a planner. Somewhere to, write out the verses, somewhere to write out your thoughts, somewhere to document your year. I can't tell you how powerful it is to write the Word of God. There is, I'm a planner, so of course I believe there's power in writing down everything, whether it's your goals, your thoughts in your journal, of course your to-do list and, your plans, so you can where you're supposed to be and all of that. But there's just power in writing, and that's especially true when it comes to the Word of God. So somewhere to write is really going to be what you need. And so just those 4 things: the God and Glam reading plan, which I have this beautiful fancy version all ready to ship for you guys, and there's going to be a free resource as well, and I'll link that below. And then a Bible, the book, and then a planner or a journal. So when does this Bible study start? It starts, of course, on Sunday. Today is the unofficial start, but the Christian year starts on Sunday. I wanted to make sure we started a week early so you kind of have time to get yourself oriented, get the book if you haven't already, join our Facebook group where a community is, and set up your planner and set up your time. So one thing that I would recommend you do is set up a consistent time to sit at the foot of the cross, to be with the Lord. For me, it is first thing in the morning. So I usually get up about 5:45, 6. Of course, I take Sunday out, make coffee, make my bed, and then I sit down and I watch the sunrise and I read my Bible, drink my coffee for, an hour and plan my day. And it's like my favorite part of the day. So, I know that not everyone's a morning person and that routine doesn't work for everyone. I totally get that. I would say the rule of thumb is definitely give God your best, right? Whenever you're at your most rested and you're least distracted, I would set your Jesus date for that time. And you really can't go wrong with that. So next we're going to dive into kind of logistics is how this all works. We're going to go over to my desk and I'm going to give you a close-up of these resources. Let's go through this. So I have everything we talked about. I have the Bible study, I have our book, I have my Bible, and my planner. So my Bible is falling apart, but I love the quote that says, the person who has a Bible that's falling apart probably isn't falling apart. So that's what I think of every time I see my super tattered Bible. But this is the version that I was recommending to you. And what I love about it is that it has a dual translation. So it has the NIV on the left side, and then it has the MSG, the Message version, on the right side. And that is so cool because it really gives you kind of 2 different views into the Word. So that is my Bible, and let's get this Bible study open. Unboxing. Okay, so when you open your Bible study book, of course it looks like this. And it really is like a little book. And when you open it, you see it's the same kind of format as our dashboards, our planner dashboards. Those of you who are Paper and Glam subscribers know what I'm talking about. And the reason I made them this way is because I wanted it to be thicker than like paper, because we're going to be using these dashboards, each dashboard for 8 weeks, because there's 4 weeks on each side. So I wanted it to be nice and sturdy for you, something that you could put in your Bible, you could put, on your fridge, you could it really something that would hold up. So that's the heart behind the dashboard. I plan to just put it in a little sleeve in my planner. So here's where we are, right? Here is 11:26. God and Glam Bible Study begins. Awesome. We're ready. Let's do this. And then we have some readings. So these readings are kind of unofficial readings. They aren't part of a liturgical year, but I really wanted to include some of my favorite verses and verses that have been just incredibly transformative in my own life. As you kind of sit down and get into the rhythm of this daily reading, I really wanted to kind of give you a practice run or kind of a warm-up lap for, to get us started. And then the first official reading is December 3rd, when we start at the beginning. We start with Genesis 1 and 2. So the very, the first pages of the Bible. So every day. So today we're just kind of like getting started together. And I would recommend, in your book, if you haven't already done so, to really read the foreword, sink into the foreword. So I would say if you haven't already, I would say read up until I think it's page 48. So the foreword is great. It has so many great kind of things we can all look forward to, and it's actually very funny, which is always a bonus. And then Discovering Sacred Time kind of orients you to Bobby Gross's background, the author, as well as, kind of his walkthrough of the liturgical year. So I started again this year, and I have my bookmark here. And I would read all the way, up. It's kind of a lot of reading, so definitely pace yourself. You can read all of this if you do just like 10 pages a day. That would be 2 grace days, and you'd finish it. So that I'd read that first, and then kind of just sit down with these verses when you have time, and set up your planner, set up your journal, plan your mornings so that you have a little more time. And then we're gonna read the Preparing for Advent section. So whenever there's a seasonal shift, there's a big section in this book that goes through what's coming in the season and what we can expect and why it's important and all of that. So, this is Preparing for Advent. So I have 2 days here for preparing for Advent, whatever that means, whether it's getting an Advent calendar or, the Advent calendar, or an Advent candle wreath. And I'll link mine below if you're curious what that is, whatever it looks like for you to prepare for Advent. And then we have a grace day. And the grace days are, I am going into this knowing that there's going to be days where this doesn't work. Of course, my plan every day is to read the Bible, because that is what I believe, setting aside time is, of course, to be with the Lord is like the foundation of Christianity. Not that we don't take him with us into the rest of our day, but to really sit quietly and pray and worship and kind of set our hearts and minds for the day is, invaluable. So, but there's days when it doesn't work. We know we're going to wake up late and like everything's going to, be a mess from there. And so that's what the grace days are. So I, of course, just put them in at the end of each week. But like, if you need a grace day on Wednesday, that's what it's for. Then, you just kind of back yourself up and you read Wednesday's reading on Thursday and so forth. So that's the heart behind the grace days, and you'll see them on most weeks. The reading does get heavier when we go into like Christmas and Easter and Holy Week, because those, of course, are like the biggest feasts in the Christian year. So you'll see, there may be 2 readings a day, like for Christmas week, for example. So, keep in mind the reason for the season. I know Christmas can be the busiest, and Easter and stuff can be the busiest time of the year, but so doing more on top of that doesn't always sound appealing. But, Jesus is the reason for the season. So it's like we all kind of have to just keep that in mind and try to set aside some extra time, if at all possible, to keep our mind on that truth. So that is the setup, so our week this week, of course, the theme is prepare. Our week next week is waiting, and there's 2 weeks of waiting, because, Advent really is about, waiting for the coming of the Lord. And then the 3rd week of Advent is joy. And then, Christmas is believe. Oh dear. Yeah, then we start Epiphany, and I'm just going to flip through the year really quick. And then, we have Lent, and we have Holy Week and then Easter. And Easter actually lasts longer than Lent because, celebration should last longer than that preparation. And then we go into, the summer weeks where we have those, those themes for that aren't, necessarily about Jesus's life, but about the Christian life. So community, service, persecution. Here's July, August, and they're in the Paper and Glam monthly colors. And then we have fall. And then we come full circle. So the last week of the God and Glam Bible Study is Reign, which is the Reign of Christ Sunday. Here's Thanksgiving, where we are now. And then, it starts all over again. So here is, I just included this page. I probably should have stopped it right here, but since we would have had an empty page and, we're gonna pick this up at the same place next year, I included the rest of the year so you could really see it come full circle. Okay, so on to planning. So you may choose to use a journal or a planner, whatever you feel most comfortable with, but I am going to be using the Glam Planner Horizontal, and I want to show you my Glam Planner from last year, my God and Glam Planner, and how I was using it. Of course, this is 2017. 2018 is open for pre-order, but I don't have it here to show you yet, but I'm going to show you a little sneak peek. So this is how my weeks looked. This was the first week of January. So, I was just writing my gratitude here or a verse. And then I was writing, the kind of what the key verse I thought was from the reading. So, here it was John 1:14, and I wrote that verse. Here was John 1:12, and, sometimes I thought the NIV version was stronger for me, and sometimes the MSG version, and that's one of the benefits of that Bible. And here's where we start Epiphany, and it just keeps going. I didn't always use stickers, but you guys get the idea. And then I'll show you how I use my monthly view. So this is how I use my monthly view. I put the theme on Sunday, and I just wrote the reading that was scheduled in my monthly view. And then in my hourly planner, I put like what I actually read, because, I might be 2 days behind, or maybe 2 days ahead, or, I might be on vacation one week, in which case I kind of need to read ahead or maybe catch up a little. So this is kind of what I use as my plan, so to speak. And then, so how I'm going to use this is it's going to be basically a direct copy of the God and Glam reading plan. I'm going to set up my planner, and we're going to do it together in another video. But, I'm going to set up my planner with these readings in mind. And then, yeah, that's that. One thing I wanted to show you that's really cool with the new Glam Planner, I don't have one here. They haven't arrived yet, but I printed out some pages so you can see what we've done, because this is really exciting and kind of a sneak peek at the new Glam Planner. So you'll see that this is the monthly view, and you'll see big changes. And what we've done is we've made our monthly view, we've made it so our monthly view now fits all of our stickers. So all of our basics fit beautifully in here, and all of our stickers are now interchangeable, whether you are using the Erin Condren planner, or the Happy Planner, or the Glam Planner, or all of the above if you're me. Well, I'm not using a Happy Planner, but I am using Erin Condren and the Glam Planner. So that's really cool that we have so much more room to write now, and we consolidated these weekend boxes. So I tried to keep my weekend readings a little bit lighter, but there's still plenty to use, like a quarter box there, quarter box stickers. And of course, the full box stickers don't fit in here, and they're not intended to. Those are meant to go in the weekly pages, of course. So that is really exciting. And then, this is all the same. The layout for the horizontal, which I think is really ideal for Bible study and kind of a journal, because it's dated just like our study, and it has room for full boxes and writing. So that's that. And I just want to show you a couple of our God and Glam stickers, right? We have 2 God and Glam sticker offerings. One is our signature God and Glam set, and then one is our fall set. They're pretty much the same. Here we just have some scriptures that coordinate with fall, and those of course are during the fall in the reading plan. And then they just match beautifully. Of course, we have full boxes, and we have time, for church and setting aside time to read in the morning. So, all of these are pretty much Bible study stickers in my planner. And then the second page of God and Glam just has some more full box stickers. So we would like to do one of these offerings for every season. So like one for Lent, one for Easter, one for fall, Christmas. We haven't gotten to it yet, but this is year 1. We are going to start from the bottom and work our way up up here, or not the bottom, but start from day one, so to speak. So, as you can see, this is gonna look really beautiful. Like when you're planning and studying your Bible in August, like this is gonna be just gorgeous between like the monthly view and the weekly view. So like this signature kit. August is our signature paper and glam color, so it's going to coordinate beautifully. Ultimately, we want to have one for January and Epiphany, and of course, Lent for March. But here's what we have today, and I'm just going to keep working on these, and here's where we are, and that's where we're going. All right, are you guys excited for our year together? I just kind of want to wrap up with some FAQs, frequently asked questions. So after videos like this, I always get the question, how do I join? Which is a great question. If you're reading along with us, then you joined as far as I'm concerned, but we have a few online internet spaces. So of course we have our Facebook group, and that's going to be our main point of contact. I know not everyone has Facebook, and I totally respect that decision, but that's definitely the best interactive platform I found. Those of you who are with me for 2016 will remember we tried to do a forum, and it just didn't quite work out as well as Facebook does. So we're going to really leverage that resource. There is a God Glam Instagram. I'm going to do my best to post up there, as much as I can. There is also a God Glam YouTube channel that I created for all, future God Glam content. So whether we're talking about like my favorite Bibles and walking through, kind of my Bible collection if you are looking for a new one, or, my Bible study setup or anything like that, I'm going to put up on the God Glam YouTube channel. So that's there. And then, as far as content for me, I am definitely, I don't want to overcommit as far as content. And I've been thinking about this forever, because in my type awesome mind, you guys, I want an Instagram post every single day with, something about the daily reading. I want a YouTube video and a blog post once a week of, walking through the readings for the week and kind of unpacking them together. Ideally, I would love to do a live stream like we do for book club on the God and Glam channel. Like that is where I see this going. All that to say, I'm not sure how much content I'm going to be able to get up. I'm going to, of course, always do my best, and I hope that this grows a little bit every year, and we get better every year. So you're probably thinking, oh, is the study going to be the same every year? This is always going to be the official Paper and Glam Bible Study reading plan. And, I can tell you for certain we're going to be reading it, of course, this year and next year. I also read it all last year, and I feel like I've barely even scratched the surface. There is so much to the Bible. It's an inexhaustible book, right? So we're definitely going to be doing this study for the next couple years. So, with that in mind, there's going to be times when you and I fall off the God and Glam wagon. And I want us to all commit to that. If that happens, just jump right back on. Or if you're just finding this video and, it's not the weekend after Thanksgiving and right before the start of the year, maybe it's June, jump right in, because, this thing just keeps going. The Christian year just keeps going. Like, we're never going to catch up, right? Like, we all know every year goes faster than the year before. So, we're just going to do our best. It's just like, growing in our spirituality is just like growing physically, right? Like we, hey, sometimes we eat the donuts and we don't work out, and sometimes we crush it and we eat salad. It's no different from Bible study. So, please don't approach this from an all or nothing perspective. And I'm talking to myself more than anyone there. I am, with my type awesome disease, I'm such an all or nothing person, and if I can't check all the boxes, sometimes I can just be like, oh, better luck next year. But we're not going to have more time in the future, because that's just not how life works. So wherever you are, I hope that you'll jump in with us and, just do your best, and every year get a little better. That's so much of what Paper and Glam is about. Like the Bible says, if we don't give up, we're going to reap a harvest of blessing. So with that, I think that's everything. So on the Bible God and Glam reading plan, if you do want to grab one, we have already sold over half of them. We have sold out the day the listing went live, which was also the same day book club went live. So because this is a new thing, I didn't know how many to order, and I under ordered. So if you do want one, please grab one in the near future. I don't think that they're going to be around much longer. If they are sold out and you're watching this, there's totally the online spreadsheet version that is kind of the kind of the printable, you can take notes, you can access it anywhere from your phone reading plan. So, if you are somewhere, if you're on vacation and you forgot your reading plan, well, you can access it from your phone because it's just a link, and it's just a place where it just has all the readings, and every day it's kind of the quick and dirty Bible study. So that is, I think, everything. If you enjoyed this video and you're excited to read along, I'm so excited. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and of course the new God and Glam channel. And yeah, let's see. We just launched a book club too, so if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm new to Paper and Glam and I'm loving this, I love this. Book club is very similar to, God and Glam. Of course, it's a secular, book club, but we're reading together just the same. So that was last weekend, and I'd love for you to join us for a book club. And I know so many of you have said, I'm so excited for a Glam New Year, as I call it, and I'm in for book club. I'm in for God and Glam. I saw so many of you that I haven't seen around the shop or seen, in comments recently coming back to me, and I'm so excited to see that you're back and you're excited about book club and you're excited about God and Glam, and you're just ready to get this party started, because after 3 years, I am so ready. So thank you guys so much for all of your support, all of your patience. You are my world, and I am just praying for the most beautiful, transformative year together. So I will see you guys soon, and we are going to start a very glam Christmas. Oh, and of course, leave me comments down below. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know if you're excited, and any questions that I didn't answer, please let me know. If you also, there's a blog post too. I did a whole blog post walking through everything I said and more. So like how the whole liturgical year came to be, like the total nerd version of this is up on the Paper and Glam blog too. So that's all linked below. Okay, for sure. Bye-bye. See you soon.